Welcome back into Exit 99 Sports. As always, my name is Caleb Deloach, and we've got a lot to talk about. We are late in the year, so I'm going to take you guys all the way back to last Monday. What was that? The May 4th. So we're gonna start back here. It's going to be a lot of recall here. There's a lot going on. We've got a lot of postseason games that have already happened, and events that have already happened. We have a lot of postseason coming up this week and going on, as I'm talking to you right now, actually. So it's going to be a lot of information here, so hang on, and we'll jump all the way back to something that was actually happening while I was in the middle of talking to you last week. I generally record these on Monday, so maybe not the best time necessarily as far as games happening on Monday, maybe not the most convenient in that situation, but regardless, I'm going to jump all the way back last Monday's SEMO conference tournament over at Kappa Hall. Mention quickly the third place game. Cape Central beat Notre Dame 5-1. Once again, these are some of these events that I'm going to tell you about happened in the middle or happened as I was recording. They finished, so I told you about some of these finals, but we're just going to start all the way over Monday, May 4th and act like it didn't. So as I was saying, Cape beat Notre Dame 5-1. You give up one run, probably have great pitching, and that was the case. Cape Central, as you expect at this point, Chapman Ogles was the man there. 7 innings pitch, no hitter, walked 3, struck out 5. Jathan Spain, kind of the big bat, as always, for the Tigers. 2 RBI, triple in the first inning. He also came around and then scored on the wild pitch. So Cape Central gets it done, knock off Notre Dame again this year to pick up third place in the conference tournament. So good couple-year stretch here for the Tigers. Finished second last year, third this year. So congrats to them. In the championship game, that is what was going on. I believe they had they were slowed down a little bit early due to some weather. So I was not able to really get very far into the game while I was talking to you guys. So that went in the favor of the Indians. So Jackson, I believe that is their 5th consecutive conference championship tournament win. And I heard, I was listening to Rusty Hendricks, SEMO Scramble. He said, no other team has even won 4. And this tournament's been going on since early 2000s, I believe. So 2000, 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. Nobody in the entire tournament has won more than 4 times. And Jackson has now won 5 consecutive times. I think that is their 8th overall championship. So the Indians kind of flexing their muscles right now. They're on an incredible run. They beat Poplar Bluff 7-3, and we got there in a weird way, right? I went back, I watched this game start to finish after I got done recording last Monday, and it was a low scoring. It was a pitcher's duel. Jackson was up 2-0 in the top of the 6th. And then the floodgates kind of opened where Poplar Bluff actually tied the game on a wacky bunt error situation. The guy who actually bunted ended up on third base. A lot of errors involved here, but essentially he had a bunt 2 RBI triple. Essentially, so he turf surface. You never know how it's going to bounce. Weird wet turf surface situation. I think third baseman for Jackson got there a little late, tried to bare hand throw it across the diamond, launched it into the outfield. And like I said, the guy who bunted ended up on third. 2 guys were on, came around to score. I believe Carter Shipman, I think, got the start here. Pitched really well for the Indians, but they had that play there, put Poplar Bluff or even the game 2-0 for Bluff. And, credit to the Indians, though. They got out of the inning. They had a man on third, no outs. They stranded them there. So they got into, they got to go to the bottom of the 6th, still tied 2-2. And then Jackson flipped a switch back the other way, where they scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th to go up by 5, 7-2. We got there mainly because Keegan Bregman came up, or they intentionally walked the guy in front of Keegan to load the bases, get into a double play situation, and keep the run from scoring at home. But Keegan had other plans. He hit a double, scored a couple more, and after a walk to load the bases again, Cash Rhodes singled, and he drove in a couple of more runs. And then Matt Carter had an RBI single right after that as well. So the Indians did a lot of damage there. They did give up one more run, made it a little dicey in the 7th inning, but were able to close it out and win 7-3. So shout out to the Indians. They own the SEMO Conference in baseball. A lot of other sports, we talk about it a lot. Jackson being unchallenged in football, volleyball, girls basketball, now baseball. You see that quite a bit at times with the Indians. They are the biggest school, but that hasn't always mattered a lot of times in the past. But right now, for whatever reason, whether it's coaching or just the kids coming through the last few years at Jackson, they have been on an unbelievable run across a lot of sports, and you see it here in baseball. So congrats to them. Elsewhere, Monday, Saxony picked up a really nice win. They beat Greenville. Greenville's a good team. Coming in, I didn't know how that game was going to go. It was a big proving opportunity for Saxony, in my opinion. Like I said, they won 4-1. Zach Roth pitched very well. He went all 7 innings, only gave up 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 9. The one run was unearned. So great day on the bump for Zach Roth. Cole Roth, he went 2 for 3, had an RBI, and then James Hope, he went 2 for 2. He walked a couple times, and he had an RBI as well. So Crusaders continue rolling. They're having a great season as we get into the postseason. A couple days later, surprising ball games. Cape Central loses to DeSoto 5-1. Like I said, a little bit of surprise. I'm curious. As of last check, at time of recording, we don't have standings yet, or we don't have a bracket out for baseball for Class 5 District 1. So we'll see how that affects things. It's going to have an impact. We'll preview that a little bit later as well, but it will definitely have an impact. And Thursday, speaking of impact in district seeding, Jackson hosted Seckman. Big opportunity for the Indians. Jackson, I think coming into the game, Jackson, Seckman, and Vianney they all had 20 wins. They were all like 20-5, 20-6, somewhere in there. And so it was a big separator for the Indians. But, in the end, probably regardless of who wins, Vianney's going to be the 1 seed. Jackson or Seckman was going to be the 2 and the 3, and then they're going to probably see each other again in the semifinals. But whatever. We'll get there when we get there. So Jackson wins the ball game 6-5, but it took 10 innings to do so. Drew Parsons got the Indians started. He pitched really well. He went 5 1/3, only gave up 1 earned run. He struck out 10 guys. He walked 4. Early in the ballgame, Nolan Roach had a solo home run, got the scoring started for the Indians. It tied it back up at 1-1 after an error scored an early run in the first inning for Seckman. A 2 RBI double later in the ballgame by Grant Brown put Jackson up 4-1. And then Seckman scored a run in the 6th, and they went on and scored 2 more in the 7th inning to tie it. Jackson couldn't win it in the bottom of the 7th, so we went to extras. And scoreless 8th, scoreless 9th. We get to the top of the 10th. Seckman hits a solo home run. Things getting dicey for the Indians, but the bottom half of the inning, guy we mentioned a minute ago, very clutch hitting right now. Keegan Bregman, he doubles, and then he gets driven in on the walk-off double by Gus Crowden. Gus Crowden came off the bench as only at bat of the ballgame, hit a double, won the ballgame. Indians get it done, so shout out to Jackson. Going 10 innings, picking up the district victory. Big time win for the Indians over Seckman. 6-5 was that final. And then elsewhere, Poplar Bluff, another rematch from the conference tournament. Poplar Bluff beats Cape Central again. This one 5-3. Tough break for the Tigers going over there. Try to pick up a win. Try to kind of say, hey, we might be the second best team, but no. SEMO Conference, so I guess ending the regular season, I believe. But Bluff did lose to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Cape. So I think it will end basically how it went in the conference tournament, where Jackson finishes on top, Bluff 2, Cape 3, Notre Dame 4, I believe is kind of how that's going to end is in the regular season standings as well. Scott City, speaking of Notre Dame, they beat Notre Dame 9-1. Scott City team, we don't really talk about them. They're a little bit out of this bubble that I lean on primarily, but unbelievable baseball team, man. They are loaded. They are super talented, and they might be winning a state title this year, so keep an eye out. They beat Notre Dame 9-1. Also, you look at they average like 12 runs a game. Fun fact. Unbelievable number. Speaking of teams that score a lot, Saxony, they played Delta. They won that 12-1. James Hope hit well again. He goes 2 for 3, 4 RBIs. He had a triple to put up a few of those RBIs there for himself. Eli Radman and Hope combined to finish out the ball game to go 7 innings. They only gave up 3 hits combined, 1 earned run, only walked 2. And between the two of them, struck out 12 guys in the ball game. Saxony playing well. They've been consistently hitting really well. The pitching, though, is going to be a big difference maker for them. On this past Friday, Notre Dame took on Cooter, won that one 12-2 in 5 innings. Houston Crawford got the start. He goes 5 innings, 10 Ks, gave up 5 hits, helped himself out at the plate. He got on base. He walked 3 different times. He had 2 RBIs. Shout out to Houston getting it done as a real two-way threat there for the Bulldogs. Chase Lawson, he had 3 RBIs in the ball game, 1 for 2. He walked a couple times, had a triple. And Chase McCowan, he goes 2 for 2. He had 4 RBIs. So a couple of guys really filling it up there for the Bulldogs. They pick up a nice win over a pretty good small school team in Cooter to break this losing streak they had. They played some really tough squads, so got themselves out a little bit of a hole there. Picked up a good win. Then on Saturday we had some action. Cape Central, they were playing over in Rolla. That was 2 ball games for the Tigers. They do lose the first one 11-5 to Springfield Catholic. Once again, a really, really good team over there out of Springfield. And then they drop it 1 to the home team there, Rolla. Tough break for the Tigers. They led early. Rolla ended up scoring 5 unanswered runs throughout the final 4 innings. In the 8th inning, Rolla walked it off. They win 7-6. Do give a shout out though to the Tigers. Skylar Connor, he goes 2 for 4, 3 RBIs in the ball game. So shout out to Skylar, but just could not close it out. Could not get the win on the road there for the Tigers. So they drop a tough one there here late in the season. And then Jackson, they play another tough road game, go against another Metro Catholic team, and they lose this one to DeSmet 3-1. Adler Flynn, the Indians were held to only 4 hits. Adler Flynn had 2 of their 4 hits. So the Indians kind of get shut down against DeSmet. They've had a few tough weekend trips up to St. Louis to play these Metro Catholic teams and haven't really gone their way here the last month of the season. So we'll see how that affects them, as we go into the postseason. I mean, I mentioned they're regardless, I believe, going to be the 2 seed now with the win over Seckman behind Vianney. And if you're able to get by Seckman again, potentially, baseball's a weird sport. You can lose it. You can lose to anybody. But if they're able to get by Seckman again, you're going to be facing a Vianney team that is as good or better than these SLU and DeSmet teams you've already seen. So this will be a good experience, but you always rather win than lose them. So Indians do fall there 3-1. So we'll flip over to some girls soccer. So girls soccer really winding down. We've got postseason matchups kind of getting figured out, kind of already getting put out there into the universe. So if you ever want to look up any of this stuff I'm telling you about, brackets and things like that, you can always go to the Misha website, go to activities, look up, whichever sport you want to see and kind of see where the postseason lies at this time. Especially whenever at time of recording, I don't have an answer for you. If you want to check it out yourself, that is where you can find all that info. So way back again on Monday, May 4th, Jackson, they hosted Seckman, a team I believe in their district. Traditionally always in their district. Usually a good team. I know they're a little bit down right now. I think they're below 500, but Jackson beats them 4-1. So a nice win, in my opinion, for the Lady Indians. 4 goals by 4 different players in that one. You have Adeline Abernathy and Bryn Banderman, the freshman, getting a goal apiece, and then Ashlyn Dawes, Emma Larson, both seniors, getting goals there for the Indians as well. So they win 4-1. Elsewhere, Saxony, they pick up a nice 1-0 victory. Nice shutout, close one over North County. Then, shout out to the Cape Central Tigers. They do pick up a victory. It's been a while since they were able to get in the win column, I know, in girls soccer. Those girls have been playing hard. They've had a lot of close losses. Unfortunately, more to tell you here in a second. But they knock off Carbondale 5-1, so good win for the Tigers. Speaking of good wins, Notre Dame, They took on Perryville. Perryville, usually a pretty tough team, but it is Addie Pratt outscoring Perryville by herself 2-0. The freshman getting it done. Aiden O'Daniel in goal, getting a clean sheet. So shout out to Notre Dame. Nice local victory here heading into the end of the season. Saxony, they pick up 2 wins. They blow out Fredericktown 9-1. Fredericktown, not very good. And then they knock off Cape Central, local rivalry here. For this past Friday, they beat them 3-2. I mentioned it, man. Cape Central, they've lost so many games by a goal. It's just brutal. But shout out to Saxony. They're playing well here down the stretch. They do have a chance to make a little bit of a run in their district, but they've got a tough test in their district coming up. I'll get to that here in a little bit too. Let's see, where else do I want to go? So we had some track districts. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to leave that here to the end. This past week, I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it briefly. The SEMO conference tournament in boys golf. I think I mentioned it. In that, result-wise, Poplar Bluff comes in first. Jackson comes in second. Notre Dame comes in third. Cape Central is down in seventh. Saxony was eighth in the conference. Poplar Bluff, unbelievable day. I mean, they had a kid shoot a 69, I believe. So they blew out everybody. They won by over 20 strokes. Jackson coming in second. They shot a 321. Sam Crowley led the way for them. He comes in third. He shoots 75. And then Caden Shaw ties for sixth. He shoots a 78. Elsewhere, Cape as a team finished in seventh, but individually, Seth Ferguson had a great day. He finishes fourth, and then Notre Dame, who finished third as a team, their leader in the clubhouse was Weston Edwards. He comes in 10th place in the conference. So shout out to those guys and those teams finishing here the regular season. Peek behind the curtain here. They played today. I'm waiting on info to load here about the results of Class 5, Class 4, and Class 2. Looks like some of those results are rolling in, so cool. I'll tell you about that more in a minute. And I believe we have some boys volleyball as well. Boys volleyball, finally, we're finishing out the regular season there. I'm going to finish out the regular season games and try to backtrack here and tell you about the postseason games we had. Notre Dame and Saxony, they matched up one more time. It was over at Saxony, I believe, and Notre Dame wins 3-1. They win the first set 25-18. Saxony comes back, wins it 25-17 in the second, tie it up. But then Notre Dame wins 2 competitive third and fourth sets, 25-21, 25-20, to sweep the season series, get their revenge against Saxony. So shout out to the Bulldogs. They get it done. Saxony, they didn't bounce back. They had a tough game following that Tuesday. They get swept 2-0 to Father McGivney. However, then they bounced back because Thursday they played St. Pius and they swept them 3-0. And then Friday they turned back around, went to Lutheran South High School, played St. Pius again in district. So in the first round, Class 1, District 1, boys volleyball, Saxony blew out St. Pius. 3-0, 25-10, 25-12, 25-11. So they are moving on there in boys volleyball. We'll talk more about that shortly, what they have coming up. In boys tennis, so I believe last week I mentioned some of the outcomes we had there on Monday. Jackson, they fell to SLU. They got swept there to SLU up at MICDS in a Class 3 District 1 team tournament. Down in Class 2 District 1, though, is over at Notre Dame. Cape Central, they beat Festus 5-0. Notre Dame beat Rockwood Summit 5-0. And those are the 2 and the 3 seeds there that set themselves up for a meeting in the semifinals that Cape Central went on to win 5-2. Cape gets revenge. Notre Dame had won the first meeting. It was early in the season, but Notre Dame had won that first meeting. Cape, though, getting the revenge. Big, local conference rival win, in-city win. Cape Central, team score-wise, wins 5-2 to put themselves in the championship game. They took on a familiar foe in Poplar Bluff. Poplar Bluff, very, very good squad. Second best team in the SEMO conference behind Jackson this year. And unfortunately, Poplar Bluff does sweep Cape Central at the end of this past week, 5-0, to win the Class 2 District 1 championship, move themselves into the state tournament. Unfortunately, that ends the season for Cape and Notre Dame that I mentioned. A tough break. All the guys who are done playing had some great seasons. They do, however, have the opportunity to pick up a win or two in doubles and singles tournament. So we'll talk more about that again as well here shortly. Sweet tea break. And I think I can go ahead and talk about some track and field. Yes, I can. So we've had regular seasons come to an end for Notre Dame and Saxony on the track. So they both competed this past weekend at home, which is very cool, in their district track meets. For Notre Dame, Class 3 District 1, like I said, it was at home. They were also hosting the Class 1 District 1 meet as well. So it was a very busy day over there at Notre Dame. And boys and girls, Notre Dame had 1 million kids qualify to go to sectionals. So I'm going to run down those. For those that don't know, you have to finish top 4 to advance to sectionals. In sectionals, and I believe the top 4 there, they advance to state. So I'm just going to tell you everybody who's going to state right now. So boys, 100 meters, Notre Dame pushes through 2 guys. Hudson Dennis comes in first at 11:18. Dylan Newman comes in second, running in 11:22. So they get 2 guys going on at 100. In the 200, Hudson Dennis as well punches his ticket there. He put up a PR 22:16. Great run to advance in the 200. Then you bump up to the 800. Cole Gross comes in first, and Aiden Morris comes in second. In the 1600, Aiden Morris comes in second again. And Blake DeBrock, he's going to be advancing on as well. He gets 4th place in the 16. And then Aiden Morris again, this time gets 1st place in the 3200. And Jackson Jones, his teammate, comes in 4th to punch his ticket as well. So Aiden Morris, I assume, is going to be taking part in the longest combination of mileage you can have in a track meet, because their 4x8 team got 1st place, which I'm assuming he's going to be a part of. So therefore, I'm under the impression Aiden Morris is going to run the 8, the 16, the 32, and the 4x8 all at sectionals. So best of luck, young man. It's more running than I would like to do. So. But yeah, congrats to him, man. He's a stud. So I mean, his long distance running ability. We saw him in cross country, superstar runner there for Notre Dame. Bouncing back up here, the 110 hurdles. No surprise, Trenton Powell gets through in 15:26. He gets 2nd place, but then Sam Carr gets in there as well. He finishes in 4th at 15:66. Very competitive race there in like the 2 through 6 spots. In the 300 hurdles, Trenton Powell as well advances. He gets 2nd there also. Kid from Fredericktown, by the way, just an unbelievable hurdler. He finished 1st in both the 110 and the 300. And then Notre Dame is taking 3 relay teams into sectionals. Their 4x1 gets 1st. Their 4x2 got 1st. And I mentioned a moment ago, their 4x8 got 1st place as well. In pole vault, it was Ellis Bruni coming in 1st place. Not a surprise there. He jumped 14.6. And then in 3rd, Owen Steigmeyer, he gets 3rd place, 11 feet 5 3/4 to punch his ticket to the sectional. So over on the girls' side, similar deal, man. They had a lot of girls move on to sectional, so really cool to see. In the 200, Jessie Iwachukwu comes in 3rd. She set a PR 25.67. In the 800, Annabelle Naughton finishes in 4th place in 2:31. In the 1600, Lily Coy, she advances there. She got 2nd, 5:35. And she also advances in the 3200, but she got 1st in the 32, followed by her teammate Amelia Peters. So they send 2 runners there in the 3200 meters. In the 100-meter hurdles, Maria Sire comes in 1st place, and Charlie DeShaney comes in 4th place. So 2 girls moving on there. Then in the 300, hurdles. Grayson Maurer, she sets a PR 48:31, comes in first place, punched her ticket. And very, very good day at the office for the relay teams. Notre Dame comes in second in the 4x1, second in the 4x2, fourth in the 4x4, and first in the 4x8. So all the relay teams moving on. In the shot put, Macy Killian punches her ticket. She gets fourth, 34 feet, 3.5 inches. In the javelin, same deal. Maria Sire, she comes in fourth place. In the long jump, Vita Claire Galati comes in third. Jojo Iwuchukwu comes in fourth. And then even cooler, in triple jump, Notre Dame gets 3 girls through. Jojo Iwuchukwu, Grayson Maurer, and Claire Fouch all punch their tickets on sectionals. So that's really, really cool to see. Shout out to those girls, man. I think I mentioned it. They've been jumping really well as of late. So, what they ended up doing is not a big surprise to me or anybody else that's been watching. So, a lot of people going through, getting the ticket to sectionals. I believe Notre Dame sectional will be at Dexter. I'll confirm that here in a minute. Then, same day, this past Saturday, Saxony at their home track, they were competing in the Class 2 District 1 meet. And similarly, a lot of athletes going through, so very, very fun to watch. In the 200, I'll start with the boys. In the 200, Maxim Mayhew comes in third, 23:02. In the 400, Mayhew comes in second, 51. And his teammate Henry Klaus, I believe, ran a PR, 54:96, to punch his ticket into sectionals as well. In the 1600, couple of Crusaders moving on. Nicholas Chambliss comes in third. Evan Ward comes in fourth. And then the 3200, Mark Ritchie will be advancing. He comes in third there in the 2 mile. In hurdles, a couple of guys, Nashawn Davis, Otis Turner III. Really, really good days. They both are advancing in the 110 and the 300 hurdles. Nashawn came in first in both. He ran 15:29 in the 110, and then a PR, a big PR, 39:70 to win the 300 hurdles. Otis Turner, the third, 17:17 to finish second in the 110, and then he gets third in the 300 hurdles. In the 4x1, they finish third, so they'll be advancing on. They also advance in the 4x4, finishing fourth, and then the 4x8, they finish third as well. On the field events, they push through 2 long jumpers. Clark Jones, he goes 19 feet 11 inches, and Alan Rudd jumps 19 feet even to punch his ticket. So shout out to all those boys. A lot of guys going through, a couple, a few different kids are doing multiple events. So going to be a busy day at the sectional for some kids, but I have no doubt that Saxony will get some guys up to the state meet. So that'd be cool to watch. On the girls' side, 200 meters, Rayleigh Matthews finishes in fourth place. That's a name I saw a lot going down this list. She also comes in second, a PR 102.36 in the 400. Then in the 800, Adeline Brandhor, she PRs to get fourth in 2:43.70. In the 1600, another PR, this one for Briley Meyer. She gets second in 5:59.24. In the hurdles, Cadence Turner, really good day. She finishes second in the 100 hurdles, 16:75. Then in the 300, she advances by finishing fourth with a PR of 50.25 seconds. But just ahead of her in third, Rena Matthews PRs as well, 50.23. Punch her ticket. Relays. They get 3 relays through. The 4x1 finished third. 4x4 finished first. And the 4x8 came in second. Now I get to tell you all of the things that Casey Hall did on the field side. Really funny combination of events for Casey Hall. If you see some of the normal, how kids normally, what events they normally jump into based on, what their different things they're good at. Casey Hall advances to sectionals by getting second in the shot put, third in the high jump, and first in the pole vault. Shout out to Casey Hall. Harding Bison. Shout out Harding. Go Bisons. And then her teammate Sarah Seaball in the pole vault also will be advancing. She came in second right behind Casey. So yeah, Casey Hall, shot put, high jump, pole vault. Very, 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 very funny. Very funny trio of events. Then long jump, back to Miss Rayleigh Matthews. She comes in second in the long jump. I wrote down 26 feet. I'm sure it's 16 feet. No offense, Rayleigh. I just don't think you jump 26 feet. And then Cadence Turner, back on the track. She jumped 15 feet 4 1/4 inches, which is a PR for her. She got third. So a couple of girls advancing in the long jump. So a lot of names there in Class 2 and Class 3. Moving on to sectionals, we will be having the districts for Cape Central and Jackson this weekend, as well as those sectionals for Notre Dame and Saxony as well this weekend. I'll get to that here in a second. So outside of that, I think that is all from this past week. I believe it is. So, I mean, it's crazy to see that we were, I'm recording May 11th, but it's crazy to see that we're already, ending so many seasons for so many people, but we are here. It's happening. So we'll talk about what's going on this week. We got a busy week and a lot of postseason action to pay attention to. So getting started there, we'll talk some baseball. We close out the regular season for everybody this week. This is the last week of the regular season for baseball. We've got some games going on here early in the week. I'll talk about later on. Jackson once again challenging themselves. They got another Metro Catholic team, CBC, coming to Jackson Tuesday. Then we have a big one Tuesday. We've got Cape hosting Notre Dame, crosstown rivalry once again. Going to see how this one goes. Going to be a good ball game, I'm sure. Going to be packed house, so it'll be very fun to check this one out and get over there to Cape Central. Then on Wednesday, Jackson takes a long trip south to Kennett. Saxony will be hosting New Athens, Illinois, finish their regular season. And then finally, last game, I believe, here in Cape Jackson is the Indians. They're hosting, or no, excuse me, they're not hosting. They're playing Rolla. That game's going to be in St. Charles. Why, I don't know. I don't make the schedule. So they're playing Rolla in St. Charles. Rolla's a really good team. I think they're 23-7 last I saw. So really good team. They just beat Cape Central the other day. And so they'll be a tough challenge. Then we get into the postseason. So getting into it here, what do we got? We're in districts. I'm going to refresh one more time. I don't know when all this stuff comes out, all right? I'm not sure when some of these are coming out. Class 6, District 1, that's where the Indians are. It's being hosted by Lindbergh. No bracket out yet. Class 5, District 1, where the Tigers are, being hosted by Farmington. No district bracket out there. However, and I think I alluded to this in the last pod, that Notre Dame going to be the 1 seed in their district, and that is the case. Brackets out. Notre Dame gets a bye. Class 4, District 1, they're the 1 seed. They won't be playing until next Monday, May 18th. The game will be at 4 p.m. TBD on the opponent. It will be at Notre Dame, but they'll be playing, well, I have a good guess. They'll be playing the winner of Doniphan and Fredericktown. The reason I have a good guess is because Doniphan's 500. They're 11-11 on the season. But Fredericktown is winless. They have 0 wins on the season, so I'm going to take a stab and say Doniphan will be the opponent. I'd love to be wrong, but I'm going to assume Notre Dame will be playing Doniphan May 18th at 4 p.m. on their home turf. So check it out. If Notre Dame is able to win, they'll be playing again the 20th against the winner of Kennett and Dexter. So a couple of teams that the Bulldogs have already beaten. So it sets them up in a pretty good spot. They are going to be highly favored there to come out of that district. So we'll see if they're able to take care of business. Meanwhile, Class 3, District 2, that is where Saxony is located. The bracket is out there. Pretty much as expected. Well, I don't think I really got past the top 2 seeds, but the number 1 seed there, Scott City, one of the best in the entire state, regardless of class. They are 29-1. 29-1. Saxony, though, having a very strong season. They are the 2 seed. They will be playing Arcadia Valley Monday, May 18th. That is at 2:45, an early ball game there. So congrats, parents. You have to take off work. Misha, always super helpful with the scheduling times. That game will be at Scott City, so Saxony versus Arcadia Valley. Arcadia Valley, the Tigers, they come in 12-12 at the moment. Solid team. They're 3-7 in true road games. They're 4-2 in neutral site or tournament games. So it's going to be a good opportunity for the Crusaders, but if they do punch their ticket, they will be playing Scott City in the championship at Scott City. It will not be an easy task whatsoever, but I choose to be positive. Scott City did beat Saxony early in the season. Saxony played well though. They hung in there. They played them tight for about 5 innings, and the floodgates kind of opened up. Scott City got the better of them. But for I'm going to be positive right now. I'm going to say, hey, maybe Saxony can pull off the upset, surprise some people. No bracket out, but Class 6 District 1, just a quick peek there. It's kind of as I said. Vianney has 23 wins. I think they'll be the 1 seed. Jackson has 22 wins. I believe they'll be the 2. Seckman at 21, lost to Jackson, so I think they'll be the 3. We got Oakville with 18 wins. Good team. I think they have a pitcher going to Tennessee. I could be wrong, but that's the scuttlebutt I've heard. Lindbergh, also always very talented. They're 11-13. Kirkwood is 11-12. Fox is 10-13. Northwest is at the bottom there with 7 wins, but this is going to be a gauntlet of a district. I mean, Vianney, Jackson, Seckman, Oakville, Lindbergh, all really, really good teams. Kirkwood, I'm not sure. I don't know as much about Kirkwood traditionally. So, I mean, what a district. You've got a very, very tough group there. And so we'll see how the bracket shakes out, but the Indians will have a very, very tough test. I mean, they'll have a good test in the first round. They'll have a very tough test if they make it into the semifinals. Meanwhile, Cape Central Tigers, like I said, their district is not out yet. Class 5 District 1 at time of recording. But they're in a weird spot. I mentioned that looking at wins, Poplar Bluff is on the top of that district with 19 wins. And you've got Festus, Farmington, and Cape all with 17 wins. Then Sykeston and Hillsborough each have 13 wins. And then the lowest win total in the district is DeSoto with 11. But DeSoto just beat Cape Central this past week. Festus and Farmington. Cape Central beat Farmington 1-0. I don't believe they've played Festus. They have not. Obviously, they've lost to Poplar Bluff multiple occasions. So Poplar Bluff up there. Poplar Bluff, though, they lost to Farmington 10-7. What all this means, I don't know. It's up to the coaches to decide the bracket, not me. So Cape Central will be somewhere in the middle. It's going to be a tough circular logic issue there where they beat Farmington, Farmington beat Bluff, Farmington beat Cape. So, I don't know. Then Festus is there. So, we'll see what happens. Cape Central, though, I expect to be somewhere in kind of the middle of that bracket, but really it's wide open. Anybody could beat anybody in this district. This is a very wide open bracket, in my opinion. Poplar Bluff, solid. Festus is, they're a couple years removed from a state title, I believe, if memory serves. They won a state title in 2023. They came in second in 2022. So, this is a very good program. So, there is that. So we'll move on. Girls soccer. So we got some games early here going on as I'm talking to you. Actually, I think one of them just went final. I did get a message. Jackson beat Sykeston 8-0. Maybe not a surprise. The run rule victory. Goals. Adeline Abernathy with the hat trick with 3. Rudy Klund, the brace. Bryn Banderman had a goal. Elise Sparks had a goal, her first on varsity. So shout out to Elise. Very, very cool. Very cool moment. Getting a varsity goal here, last ball game of the regular season. And then another young one, man, Tinsley Murley, a freshman, getting a goal as well for the Indians. So not only is Jackson, the best team in Southeast Missouri, very, very good squad, but they're super young. So it feels like there's no in between. There's a bunch of seniors and a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. So shout out to Jackson. They knock off Sykeston. I don't have a final for Notre Dame at Farmington. So. Tuesday, Cape and Notre Dame, another big one. It'd be at Cape Central. Notre Dame, obviously, going to be heavily favored in my opinion, but Cape Central trying to finish off the regular season strong. Saxony, they'll be going on the road to Perryville. Tough matchup. We saw Notre Dame beat Perryville, but Perryville's generally a very good team. And then we're into the postseason. So that wraps it up. We're early in this week. We get done with regular season soccer. We jump straight in to district tournaments. So let me pull up what we've got here. I believe everybody's districts are out already here in the area, so that's really, really helpful. We'll start with the big one, Class 4, District 1. That is where the Jackson Indians reside. They are the 5 seed. They will be taking on Lindbergh, the 4 seed. That is May 16th. So that is coming up here this weekend, Saturday. Saturday at noon, Lindbergh and Jackson playing at Narix Hall. Narix Hall is in Webster Groves, Missouri. Should be a really good game. So the reason the seed kind of played out this way, Jackson lost to Lindbergh early in the season. That was a 1-goal game. Let me see. It was back April 6th. It was at Lindbergh. Jackson lost 3-2. I went back. I watched the ball game after it happened. So the way I recall it, it was a close competitive ball game, and then I believe Lindbergh won it with about 5 minutes to go. They got a goal late in that one to win the ball game. So I'm expecting it to be a really close competitive ball game as well. I think I've said close and competitive about 20 times, but that is kind of the way I expect this one to go. Obviously, if you know how brackets work, if you are the 4 or the 5 seed, if you win, which I do hope Jackson does win, that means you will be playing the 1 seed in the next round, the semifinals, and as I think I mentioned the last pod, and I've mentioned a few times this year, the 1 seed in Jackson's district is Jorge Zoo, who is one of the best teams in America, not just the state of Missouri. They are very, very, very good. They're going to beat Farmington 8-0 in about 10 minutes, and then they will be playing, hopefully, Jackson in the semifinals. If Jackson beats Lindbergh, that will be going on Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m., and I believe, okay, so all the games looks like all the games right now are said they're being played at Narix Hall. So that is where that will be. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but Jorge Zoo, very good. I believe they beat Jackson 7-2 early in the season. So, let's just win the first one. Beat Lindbergh, get your revenge on Lindbergh. Then we'll worry about, Maddie DiMaria and the best team we've ever seen play soccer. In Class 3, District 1, Cape Central, they get the 7th seed in the district, so they will be playing Melville. This does not come around until next Monday, May 18th. The game will be at Melville at 5 p.m. Obviously, the Tigers, tough year, two wins right now at time of recording here, but Melville, good squad. They're going to be playing at their place. Let's go shock the world. Melville, 13-win team. Why don't you just go upset them? Just go upset them. See what happens. So best of luck to the Tigers there. Class 2, Saxony. They get the 5 seed. They will be taking on Lutheran South. So that one also Monday. Another early flipping start, man. 3:30 p.m. on a Monday. Thanks, Misha. That game will be played at Perryville, so not too far of a drive. Kind of de facto home team in this one. They're taking on the Lutheran South Lancers. Lutheran South 5-9-1, Saxony 5-6. So a game that is, it's there for the Crusaders to win. So we'll hope that they are able to knock off Lutheran South in the first round. If they do, presumably in the semifinals, they will be taking on St. Vincent. St. Vincent, the 1 seed. I believe St. Vincent did beat Saxony pretty handily the first time they played. Did they play? Did I make that up? I might have made that up. Maybe they haven't played. They played Notre Dame. That's who they beat. Okay, my bad. Hand up, Saxony. My bad. I'm slandering you right now. They did beat Notre Dame 8-2. So they're pretty darn good. Lana Adams, good at soccer. So we'll see how it goes. Saxony, 5 seed, go upset Lutheran South, go get into that semifinal and shock the world. Go beat St. Vincent in Perryville. Go do it. And then finally, the weirdest thing for me all season long is the Notre Dame Bulldogs being in Class 1, District 1. Notre Dame being in a smaller class than Saxony. Doesn't really compute in my brain, but I don't make the rules. Notre Dame, the 1 seed in Class 1, District 1. Record-wise, they've got a Brentwood team that is 12-1, but they haven't really played anybody. So I would look at Notre Dame as the heavy favorite in this district. They get a first-round bye as the 1 seed. 10 teams in this district. They get a first-round bye, so they'll be playing the winner of McKinley Classical Leadership High School or Hancock. Hancock 6-8, McKinley 4-10. I'm going to be honest, I couldn't tell you anything about any sport that those 2 teams play, but Notre Dame will be playing May 20th at 4 p.m. The game will be at Bishop DeBerg up in St. Louis, so a bit of a drive. That'll be Wednesday at 4 p.m. Once again, so stupid. Play games in the evening. Oh, my gosh. And I'll be rooting for Notre Dame. I think they'll be able to get it done, pick up a few wins here, and get a district title. So down there in Class 1, go make some noise now. Got a big opportunity in front of you if you are Notre Dame. So that is, I believe that's everything I've got for girls soccer. Passing away. Track and field. So I don't have to do the thing where I go through all the runners and every where they rank in the district, thing like that. I don't have to do that. I can do that. I might do that. In the meantime, I'll tell you that, like I said, all of our local track teams, they will be participating in either districts if you're Jackson and Cape, or sectionals if you're Notre Dame and Saxony. All that will be going on this Saturday. We'll start. Jackson is going to be in Class 5, District 1. That'll be up at Hillsborough High School. Kind of odd, in my opinion, where located, but whatever. We'll roll with it. So I said I might not do it, but I'm thinking I'm going to do it. So Class 5, District 1. Look, Jackson has a lot of kids that are going to be, they have 2 kids that are going to be at the top in several races here. So just looking at the boys' side, you got Barrett and Blaine Reagan. They're 1 and 2 in the 100. They are 1 and 2 in the 200 and 1 and 2 in the 400. I'm not sure yet as to what kind of programming the coaching staff has in store for them. I really wouldn't be surprised if they do run that 1, 2, and 4, and also participate in the 4x1, where I believe they are the number 1 seed with the Reagans, Memphis Maddox, Jalen Hampton. They ran a 42.01 at SEMO Conference. That is good for number 1 right now in their district. So I don't know what they're going to have them do, but I would not be surprised to see those 2 guys doing all 3 individual events and the 4x1. So we shall see. It'll be up to the coaching staff and the boys how they're feeling, but nonetheless. It's going to be an uphill battle for any Indians to get through in the long-distance races. You've got a lot of kids from SLU High that are unbelievable. You got a few kids from Farmington that are going to be really tough. Nathan Meisner just had a PR 158 in the 800 this past weekend, but he sits at, 8th overall in the 800, running a 158 this past weekend. So it's going to be an uphill battle for any Indians to get through there in the long distance. I mean, Jackson has runners 6, 7, and 8 in the 3,200, but like I said, SLU has runners number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I don't know exactly how that works out, how many kids you can put into different events, things like that, or what the exceptions are, yada, yada, yada. Regardless, it's going to be tough for the Indians. In hurdles, nobody in the 110, but in the 300, Memphis Maddox is number 1. Gage Parker's number 2 in the district in the 300 hurdles. If those kids are running around 40 seconds like they have been, they're going to advance. And I mentioned 4x1. Jackson's the 1 seed there. Jackson is actually the 1 seed in the 4x2, but you got to make a decision here. So their 4x2 team that is number 1 in the district has all 3 Reagans and Jalen Hampton in it. So obviously, Barrett and Blaine can not run in every event. In the 4x4, their team is actually in third place with no Reagans involved. So that is Gage Parker, Memphis Maddox, Carter Reese, Nathan Meisner. The 4x8 team for the Indians, they sit at third as well. So Jackson has a chance to get some relays through, that's for sure. Throws, Gavin Shin. He's in the top 4 at number 2. Wessel's on the outside looking in at 7. In discus, they sit at 2 and 3, Wessel and Shin respectively. Javelin, Grant Osball is 6th there. Ryan Larry comes in with the highest mark on the season in the high jump, 6'4 3/4, but he has not hit that in a little bit of time, so we have to see him put up some numbers there to get back out of this district. You're going to have to jump 6 foot plus to get out of the district. Pole vault, Parker Altenthal is 2nd, and Jonah Taylor is actually 4th. So Jackson could get 2 guys through in the pole vault. In long jump, Larry is 1st there, and then so there's a good chance he gets through. We shall see, but I do like his chances to get through in the long jump. And then triple jump, Evan Turley down there at the 10 spot. He's going to have to set a PR, probably jump about 40 feet to get through there in the triple. Over on the girls' side, you have a similar deal where, there's a few girls that are really good at a lot of races, but you can only run so many of them. So in the 100, Beckley Getz, Brooklyn Williams are number 2 and number 3, respectively. In the 200, Getz is number 4. In the 400, Getz is number 3. So I'm curious to see what kind of workload she has. She's been injured. I haven't seen her name pop up in any races, so we'll see what her workload looks like and what all they put her in. In the 400, Hallie King also sits at 6 for the Indians. She's definitely within striking distance as well in the 400 to get through. Speaking of King, she's number 1 in the district in the 800, and her teammate Emma Needbalski is number 3. She just ran 2:24, best of the season over at Hillsboro this past weekend. She has a chance to get through here. Then in the 16, Needbalski and King again. They're 3 and 4 this time, respectively. Emma 3rd, Hallie 4th. So it could be a very busy day for those two girls because I assume they're also a part of Jackson's 4x8 rotation. But we shall see. Their 4x8 team, what they decide to do. Once again, it's all this is kind of up to the athletes, the coaches, how they feel going into it. 3,200, Emma is 4th, Hallie King 7th. So we'll see if anybody tries to pull off, the triple of 8, 16, 32. If they also do the 4x8, that's crazy, but you guys do you. Nobody in the top 4. We do have a couple of hurdlers, Kendall Leland, Bella Ivy, around 7 and 8. Leland is a 7th in the 300 hurdles. The 4x1 team of Bonzi, Williams, Haynes, and Getz is actually 1st in the district for the Lady Indians. Their 4x2 team is 3rd with Ivy, Leland, Haynes, and Getz there. 4x4, I mentioned they're 4th in the district. That was Hallie King, Charlotte Jessel, Stella Rusler, Emma Dabalski. 4x8, that team sits at 6. Has Hallie King, but no Emma Dabalski in it, so we shall see. And shot put, there's going to be some Indians with big-time chances to get through as well in the throws on the girls' side, because you've got Katarina Ellefson is 1st in the shot, Anna Knippen is 2nd in the discus. They are also 1st and 2nd they're 1st and 2nd in the shot put and the discus. And then Katarina Ellefson, number 1 in the javelin as well. So she is number 1 seed in all the throws, but also Jayla Smith right behind her in 2nd place in the javelin as well. So Jackson has a chance to get 2 girls, the same one in Ellefson, all 3, but they have a chance to get 2 qualifiers in every throwing event. So very cool. Adeline Prater sits at 6th in the high. Pole vault, Amelia Fox is the 1 seed. Lily Morningstar is the 4. She has some wiggle room behind her, though. She has a 10-inch advantage PR-wise above the girl in 5th place. In the long jump, Brooklyn Williams, as far as PR goes, is a mile ahead of the competition. Over a foot difference in the long jump. So, Jackson has a big opportunity. They have a chance to get a lot of girls and a lot of boys through. It'd be really, really cool to see. Just keep stacking up, that section will try to get as many kids up to the state meet as possible. That'd be really, really neat. Over for the Cape Central Tigers in their district, you've got, 100 meters, Breon Clemens. He is the second fastest time there, 10:79. You've got Torrance Murray, Marshawn Pierce just on the outside looking in. So, either of them are a few hundredths away from potentially breaking through. The 200 meters, you've got Clemens and Pierce at 4 and 5. In the 400, Elijah Cheek set a huge PR, unbelievable PR, this past weekend at Hillsboro. I keep mentioning this meet. I didn't talk about it earlier, but huge PR. He ran 49.68. He is now the number 1 seed in the district in the 400, ahead of 4 kids from Poplar Bluff. So Cheek is number 1, and then you've got 4 Bluff runners in the 400 behind him. So his teammate Tayon Carter. Carter had a PR, nice PR as well. He ran 51.32 in the 400 at Hillsboro this past weekend. And when you get to the 8, the 16 to 32, you are going up against a wall of kids from Festus. All right. Now, I don't know what Festus is doing in the distance. I think they've won the cross country state title, I believe. And they've got, top 10. They've got 6 of the top 10 in the 800, 6 of the top 10 in the 1600, and 6 of the top 10 in the 3200. So the only real challenger for the Tigers, Elijah Cheek, I mentioned he's 7th in the 800, but it's going to be a whale of a time getting through all those Festus kids. In the hurdles, Tigers have a couple of kids there. Demarion Williams sits at 3rd in the district, Terrence Dorsey 4th. I would not be surprised at all for Williams to get through. Dorsey's going to have to run a good race to get through there, but they have a chance to get both those guys through. And Demarion Williams, Elijah Brown for the Tigers, just on the outside looking in. They're sitting at 5 and 6 right now. But, hurdles, 300 hurdles, you're just one mistake away from taking advantage. So that's what Williams and Brown are going to have to do. They're going to have to run clean races, but they have a chance to break through. In the 4x1, the Tigers team sits at 3rd. In the 4x2, their team also sits at 3rd. In the 4x4, their group sits at 2nd. They ran a school record this past weekend at Hillsboro. Aiden Dockery, Demarion Williams, Carter, who I mentioned, Cheek, who I mentioned. Those guys ran 3:26.73. Really good race over there at Hillsboro this past weekend. In the 4x8, Tigers team actually sits at 4th there as well. Now, these teams involve a lot of Elijah Cheek. As I've talked about a few times, you can't be in every race. You get 4. So we'll see how they use Elijah, but I imagine he's going to have a very, very busy day. Excuse me. In the throws, the Tigers have number 1 and number 2 in the shot put and discus. Those are both Isaiah Husky and Jamie Adams in each. Look, Husky has a real chance to win a state title, all right, this year, so be rooting for him. And then Jamie Adams, man, only a freshman. He's thrown over 50 feet in the shot, 155 in the discus. He has had an unbelievable year. In the javelin, Max Pardon has now leaped up to 3rd place in the district. He threw 160 feet, 3 inches at Hillsboro this past weekend. Huge throw by Pardon. So he's officially a contender. And he's going to have to throw good again. You got to get over, you got to be throwing 155 plus. You got to be, getting closer to 160, probably to 155 to get through this district. High jump, a guy I've mentioned a lot already, Demarion Williams. He has the high jump this year in the district at 6'6". Teammate Jaden Johnson right behind him, 6'4" and 3/4. Those guys have a good opportunity to get through there. Obviously, Kent Sheridan, he's the man right now, number 1 in the entire state in pole vault. He is almost 2 feet ahead of the next highest in this competition. Long jump, Jaden Johnson, who I mentioned a moment ago, he is the 1 seed right now in this district as well, a little over 22 feet. He's going to have to jump well. You're going to have to go 21.6 probably or above to get through. And then in the triple, Adrian Belcher just on the outside looking in. He sits in 5th place for the Tigers. On the girls' side, obviously it begins there in the 100 meters. You got Taraji Riley, one of the best in the state of Missouri, far and away the best in this district, and Haley Williams, number 4 for the Tigers overall in the district as well in the 100. In the 200, it's going to be interesting. Taraji Riley has not run a lot of 200s this year. She does have the second fastest time of the season so far, 25:56 She ran at the Henley Holmes Steve Warren Invitational at one of the Parkway schools. And I believe that was in the qualifying for it. So she didn't run the finals. So if she's in there, she's going to advance, I assume. But she has not run a lot of 200s this year. Elsewhere, not a lot of opportunities, I don't think, for the Tigers in the longer distance runs or, in the hurdles as well. But their sprint relay teams are very strong. Their 4x1 is the 1 seed right now. That does include Taraji Riley, Haley Williams, Scarlett Whitfield, Aaliyah Jackson. 4x2 team sits in second place in the district as well. And the 4x4 is fourth place. Now, that does include Taraji Riley, who I mentioned. So we'll see if they have her running any 400s. That would be a little bit surprising. But regardless, that team has had a lot of success this year. In the shot put, you've got Emily Sterling. Sits in fourth in the district right now. So good opportunity for her. And then Layla Bergfield, she has a chance to go on in 2 different events. She's first in the district in the discus and sits at second in the javelin. In the high jump, the Tigers are 1 and 2 right now. 2 freshmen, Scarlett Whitfield, Caden Kern, have both jumped 5 feet, 1 3/4 inches. Now they haven't done it in a minute. So they've got to get that form back around if they want to get it through here. It's going to be tough right behind them. You've got a lot of girls jumping right around 5, just a tad below 5 foot. So that's going to be, the safe spot. If you can get over 5 feet here in this district meet, you're probably going to go through. So if you can hit that 5 foot mark, you're safe. Otherwise, you're kind of leaving it up to other competitors. So take it in your own hands. Go jump 5 foot. Go do what you're capable of doing. Punch your ticket to the sectionals. Then long jump. Speaking of Taraji Riley, something else she's great at. 18 feet, 1.5 inches. She is first in the district in the long jump. And in the triple, you got Ayasia Clemens. She is fifth there just on the outside. If she can jump right around that, high 33, low 34 mark, I think she has a chance to get through there as well. So a lot of names there, a lot of yapping by yours truly. Don't forget as well, you've got, races going on all over the place. I mentioned Jackson will be at Hillsboro. That is the Class 5 District 1 meet. Cape Central, Class 4 District 1, they'll also be at Hillsboro. So a very busy day up there at Hillsboro. Once again, Hillsboro is just such a random place to host this at. Notre Dame, they are in Class 3 District 1. They will be competing over at Dexter. So, all those people I named early on in this conversation, they'll all be competing over at Dexter. I mean, once again, they have a good shot to get a good amount of kids through into state. I'm really excited to see what they're able to do. And that Class 2 Section 1 will also be going on at Dexter. So you've got all the Saxony athletes, all the Notre Dame athletes going to be competing over there at Dexter. So that'll be big time. It'll be a lot of fun. All of our local athletes in 2 places in track and field. So it'll be a lot to keep track of, and I'm excited. If you want to follow along, well, usually I tell you to go to athletic.com, or .net, excuse me. But this past week, they weren't doing the live results there. They were doing it on MoMilesplit.com, which is where all the track stuff used to be at. And, hasn't been the primary source for most teams this year. For whatever reason, I don't know why, the live results weren't coming up on the athletic.net pages. So go to MoMilesplit, look up results, and there's underneath the results a tab for live results. Click on that. Look for whatever it is you're looking for, Class 5 District 1, Class 4 District 1, Class 3 Sectional 1, Class 2 Sectional 1. That's where you find all those results. So that's all my track and field spiel. So the other things we've got going on, boys tennis. We've got a little bit of time before we get more boys tennis action, but Friday, May 15th, I don't have times for this stuff. I just found the bracket a little bit ago, though. Class 2 is where all of our tennis players are left. All right, Jackson, all the kids were eliminated up there in Class 3. And so we've got Cape Central's boys team, they lost as a team, but they do have a doubles pair playing in Class 2 doubles tournament. It is the Miller-Miller combination. They will be taking on a pair from Platte County, McBratney and Cluck from Platte County in the doubles tournament. For Class 2 singles, that is where we've got Notre Dame competitors still alive. 2 kids, both made it through. They got first and second in the district. Winning first was Owen Blattle. He is taking on a young man named Ezra from North Point. I say that because his last name, I don't know how to pronounce. We're going to do it together. Ezra Kana Muinwai. Kana Muinwai. K, those listening at home, KHANAMUENWAI. Kana Muinwai. That's what I'm going with from North Point. And then finally, the kid who got second in districts, his teammate Michael Bogdanovich. That one I can say no problem. Shout out Bojan and Bogdanovich of Notre Dame. He is taking on Samuel Goodhue of Thomas Jefferson Independent Day School. What or where that is, I couldn't tell you. But he's playing Michael Bogdanovich in the first round of the Class 2 singles tournament. So check it out. Best of luck, Michael, Blattle, the Millers. Best of luck to all you guys. Go pick up some wins. Go shock the world. Go get into the state finals. Go do it. Go win a state title for the school. It'd be sick. I'm rooting for them, and I'll be keeping track. Online, I'll be refreshing the Misha page, see if the results pop up when we get there on Friday. Otherwise, I'll be keep your eyes open. The school social accounts, usually Facebook, will probably be giving updates there. Then I believe, reading my own notes here, I believe we are at my final topic, which is golf. Now, question of the day is, are the golf results in yet? We're about to find out together. Class 2, yes. District 1, okay. So Class 2, that's where Saxony is at. District 1, as a team, they come in 8th place. They shoot a 380. St. Vincent wins going away. Them and Jefferson High School will be moving on. Individually, it does look like we will have at least one Crusader. It will be one. We got one Crusader moving on. I'm reading, making sure I was right. We're finding out live together. Bryce Gabler, really, really good day. He finishes 5th overall. He'll be moving on to the state meet. He shoots an 81, just 3 shots back of the leader. A couple of kids actually tied for first from St. Vincent. So St. Vincent went 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, that'll do. That'll win you some tournaments, that's for sure. Then I believe we'll have Notre Dame and Cape Central in Class 4. We do. So the Notre Dame Bulldogs, congratulations. They have won the team title in Class 4 District 1. They dominated. They win by 8 strokes over Rockwood Summit. Notre Dame shoots a 314. Great showing by them, man. That is big time. Yeah, this is one of the best rounds they've had this season. Cape Central, they finished in 6th, shooting a 361. Individually, shout out to Seth Ferguson. I mentioned he got 4th in conference. He is the individual winner, Class 4 District 1. He shoots a 71. Big time stuff out of Seth, the senior, punching his ticket to state. Let's see, I believe that will be the only Tiger moving through. No, it is not. Josiah Seaball. He sneaks in there. He finishes tied for 22nd. He gets that last spot. He shoots an 86. He will be moving on to state as well. So for the Bulldogs, Weston Edwards, he shoots an 85 to finish 21st. Eli Schaefer, he shoots an 83 to finish 15th. Max LeGrand comes in 6th, shooting a 78. Tate Shively, 77 in 4th. And then McMullen shoots a 76, gets 3rd place. So, man, shout out to those guys, dude. Big time showing that of the Bulldogs. Everybody finishing in the top 21. I mean, heck, Weston Edwards was the high scorer or the leader for them at the SEMO conference, coming in 10th individually. He shot the lowest or the worst score on the team, which is incredible, 85. So, man, oh man, shout out to Notre Dame. A great day playing. Some other kids, Cape Central played pretty well. Henry Bertrand comes in 48th. Tied with him, Beckett McClard comes in 48th as well. So congrats to everybody moving on, man. Really, really cool. And shout out to the Bulldogs. They move on as a team. And then, like I said, special shout out Seth Ferguson, the leader in the district. Big time stuff out of him. Up in Class 5, District 1, tough day at the office, it looks like, for the Indians. So the Indians have nobody moving through. They finished 13th as a team, and they'll have no individual qualifiers. Looks like the leader for them today was Jimmy Williams. He shoots an 80. He finishes 21st. Looks like you had to shoot 78 to qualify, so he finishes with an 80. To lead Jackson here today, good showing, good season once again by Jimmy Williams. Weston Stroud shoots an 83 for Jackson to finish 38th. So a good season for the Indians. Unfortunately, coming to a close here today. Shout out to some of these guys kind of playing their last round. Caden Shaw finishes at 64th. And so, yeah, Sam Crowley shoots an 87 to come in 53rd. Jackson Miller shoots an 89 to come in 60th. So that is the results here. They came in live. Half those were not here when I started this. So when I started talking, so we got to learn that together. So we've got quite a few boys moving on here into the state tournament in golf. Saxony, Notre Dame as a team, Cape Central has Seth moving on, and that will do it for Jackson's season. Outside of that, I think I've talked enough for all of you. If you can, go watch some of these ball games, go see some of these events. We don't have a lot left. No, I lied. That is not the last thing. Come back. We've got volleyball. I did not mention volleyball. So we've got volleyball. I mentioned a long time ago, Saxony beat St. Pius 3-0, blew them out. So that sets up another meeting between Notre Dame and Saxony Tuesday, May 12th, 6 p.m. Are they making them drive? They're making them drive to St. Louis, Tesson Ferry Road, Lutheran South High School. Two teams separated by about 10, 15 minutes. Go drive 2 hours. Go play at 6 p.m. in St. Louis. Notre Dame versus Saxony. What is this? Meeting number 3 on the season. Let's see. Their first meeting, Notre Dame won, swept Saxony 3-0. It was competitive, 25-21. Second set, 26-24 before Notre Dame blew them out in the third set, but they swept Saxony in that one and then met again this past week on May 4th, won that one 3-1. So, look, we've been here before, all right? We've been here before. Notre Dame beating Saxony during the regular season, and then Saxony coming up, biting them here in the postseason when it really matters. Last year it was at Notre Dame, so surely you expect the Bulldogs to take care of business this year, but Saxony's a good team. They got Jonathan Palmer I saw signed to play volleyball at the collegiate level. So, I mean, they've got dudes, but it feels like this is Notre Dame's chance to get over the hump at least and beat Saxony here in the postseason as they are the higher seed and potentially set up a meeting up at Lutheran South against Lutheran South, who is a very, very good team that went 5 sets when they played down here at Notre Dame. Chance for Notre Dame to go get revenge in the championship there. If they win, whoever the winner is, Saxony or Notre Dame, that will be Wednesday, May 13th at 5 p.m. Like I said, they're going to be, we don't know yet, but they're going to be playing Lutheran South. At Lutheran South. Should be a great, when you click on this, it tells you what the weather forecast is, even though the sport is indoors. So Beautiful day to go watch volleyball inside. Wednesday, May 13th for Class 1 District 1 Championship. Now I think I'm done. Now I think that's the last thing I have to tell you. So, once again, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching, those of you that do here, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Always check us out there. Listening-wise, listen anywhere you find podcasts. I'm also open if you say, hey, I listen on this app that I don't have. Let me know. I can help get that uploaded there, get that to you on any platform you need. So hit me up there. Any, stat corrections, stat additions, or anything I got wrong, anything like that, just feel free to hit me up. Message me anywhere, social media wise. You can look me up personally, Caleb Deloach, on everything. I go by my actual name. Any of the Exit 99 Sports accounts, that's where I kind of share results and highlights, statistics, things like that of all the different schools here in our Cape Jackson area. And I'm always sharing when teams say like, hey, we're schedule change, or hey, we have a game today, or we won. So I'm always keeping you, up to date with that stuff as well on social media. So you can hit me up on the Exit 99 Sports account as well. Whatever you see fit. I appreciate it as always. And like I said earlier, before I interrupted myself, we do not have much left. So go watch, obviously go watch your kid, your grandkid, your niece, nephew, things like that. Hey, we got some somewhat local things going on. Hey, I can't talk about it enough to help you at this point if you haven't already become interested in track and field. They're running in Dexter, running in Hillsboro. Both of those an hour away, give or take it, depending on how fast you drive. Both like an hour away. We'll watch these kids on a Saturday. Insane athletes. We've got the Reagans, who are breaking every record at Jackson. You've got super strong Cape teams with the best pole vaulter in the state of Missouri. You've got Notre Dame and Saxony that have put through a dozen boys and girls. So they're trying to punch tickets over at Dexter to the state meet. So there's a lot of opportunities. We've got a lot of competitions in and around the area. We're going to be playing some postseason baseball here soon as well. So go check it out. Get out. Go watch these kids. Go appreciate what they're doing. Appreciate what the coaches are doing. The sacrifice they're all making. As always, I give you the same spiel, but go watch as I'm recording. It's May 11th. We don't got a lot of time left. So get out there, go watch some sporting events, and it'll be summertime before you know it. So your countdown is on. So once again, I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Take it easy.